Here we go. Now I will say hello again. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this Wednesday. Just a few little tips as we go into this. So I'm one person leading the webinar, so I may not see your request in the chat. So the best way to get me is to just throw on your microphone and yell out. I like to think of these as workshopping sessions. So if you have questions in real time, someone else probably does too. So excuse me, so shout it out. If it is relevant, I will answer in real time. If not, we will put a pin in it and come back to it at the end. So for today, I thought it would be really fun to showcase this new dynamic gallery. So do you want to try it? Let's give it a go. To showcase how we at OutSnap, my photo booth company, have been using Pictor to create vintage-looking photo strips. So something that was really big at PBX this year, as I think everyone knows, was the resurgence of that sit-in photo booth. We at OutSnap, my photo booth company, have gotten more requests for that vintage booth this past year than we have in 10 years since we retired it. And I think that there's a lot of reasons. One, I think that there's a real pushback on the AI that's everywhere, which I love. But I do think that there's a time and place for any tool, just like there's a time to use film and there's a time to use digital, etc. So I thought it would be fun today to create an event using Pictor to create a photo strip that could come out of one of those vintage booths or not even a vintage booth. So just a quick show of hands / shouts or throw some comments in the chat. Who here has a sit-in photo booth? 1, 2, 3. Anyone else? I got like 10 of them, so I'll put up these hands. Tiffany, you're talking to a supplier. Out of curiosity, who are you most excited about? Because I know a lot of people put them out this year.
The cabina. I'm in love with it by every booth. Yeah.
It's beautiful. If I ever win the lottery, that's the one that I will get as well. I'm obviously subjective, but I love working with the Moby booth guys. We partnered with them at PBX. That booth gotten tightened up a little bit. It folds down nicely, and it's going to work really nice with Pictor's tap to pay functionality, which is another really cool feature we have as well. Neat. So without further ado, let's hop into this. So I've set up a few different things prior to this call, but I wanted to do it really kind of live with everyone. So I'm going to take a step back, and I am going to, man, I share my screen. I love when a software puts out new features, and I'm sure we do this too, and it's like they ruin the thing that used to work and give you a bunch of things that don't work. Like, why when I share my screen should all of the chat windows that I set up so I could see what everyone has to say disappear? Okay, so that's there. Great, cool. So once again, if I don't see your message in the chat, I apologize, just blur it out. Everyone should see my screen now. If you tune in often, you know that one of my AI tools of choice is Perplexity for a handful of reasons that we can get into. And so what we're going to start with today is let's start with not AI for a change. Let's go and just make that initial photo strip in Pictor. We'll get one that's just straight up a photo strip. We'll get another one that is vintage looking non-AI photo strip. And if we have time, we'll get into the full AI build. So I'm going to go ahead and just pull up my Pictor account. I'm going to make sure I'm in the right one. I'm going to pop out of admin and go into our demo account. Cool. Let's get logged in here. Great. So this is the home screen. We're going to go ahead to events, and we're going to create a new event. We'll call this photo strip, show and tell. And I apologize if I go fast. We have so much to get through that I'm going to be a little speedy, but you can rewatch this video afterwards, or you could ask us any questions during or after the presentation. So next, I'm going to go to my flow. If we have time, I'm going to show you how we're going to use the assets we've created today to go ahead and update the actual look and feel of the entire photo experience versus just the photo strip itself. Let's start here. Let's go ahead and add a template. We're going to create a new template. I'm going to go ahead and call this photo strip normal. Or I was going to say, yeah, cool. And let's pick our 2x6 frame here. And one other thing to note is if you have a pro or premium, I can't remember which, so don't quote me up, pro or premium account, you can actually create any size artboard you want. This came in handy. We recently did an event where they wanted a 728 by 90, like an old web banner, and we were able to do it for them, no problem. But it was a weird request. So to start this off, we're just going to go ahead and throw a capture on here. And I'm going to go ahead and the captures will come in the same ratio as your artboard to begin with, but I'm going to change this ratio to 1:1. I'm going to pop this up, make it a square. I'm going to go ahead and just duplicate it and duplicate it one more time. Now we have our 3 images here. And oh, okay, that's totally fine, Mixie. So we have our 3 photos here. And what I can do is go ahead and grab these. We can move them around as we want. So we could, pop them all around. But I'm just going to, for the sake of now, just do this by eye. So this is capture 1, 2, and 3. Very simple. Save that. Save this here. And let's go quickly into our simulator. And once again, our simulator is getting an update so it can look like an iPhone or a desktop or a iPad. But in the meantime, this approximates that iPad, so you don't have to run out to your car in the middle of the night to grab your photo booth for a test. I have a floppy mustache today. How embarrassing. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take image 1. I'm going to take image 2. I'm going to take image 3. And since there's no AI, this is going to now render in real time right here. So we have image 1, 2, and 3. It's that simple. Does anyone have any questions on this initial build of just a straight up photo strip? Going once, going twice, going 3 times. Okay. And let's kick this up one more notch. And let me go ahead and remove these because I've got to see what I did on the back end for that. And let's remove that. I think it could have been because I put it in 2 places, but we'll check it out in a moment. So what I'm going to do now is conceptualize what we want this to look like, right? So I pulled initially while I was getting set up today, some just different types of overlays we could use to start to make these look a little bit more real. And so each of these has different use cases, but I'm going to pull into, let's use this guy. And this is a JPEG. I would actually rather a PNG if I can find one. Let's see. I actually kind of like this one the most. It's got the most going on. So let's go ahead and download this. And you could download a sample if you want without having to pay for it with the download preview, but go ahead and download the real deal. And let's see what format that's going to be in. So this is what it looks like. It's not exactly the format we want. So I'm going to go ahead and open up Photoshop real quick. So I'm going to unshare here. And as Photoshop opens, I will share that screen. And I'm going to open up a file. And so this is that image that I just purchased. So one thing I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to open up a new image, and I'm going to call this 1920. Whoops, I actually want it to be 1280 by 1920. I think that's right. No, it's 640. So we have our photo strip, and now I'm going to cut and paste this. And I'm going to, for the sake of this demo, just squish it down to fit into here, which is going to give us kind of our 3 squares. And I'm not going to nitpick this one and go and clean up everything right now because I just want to show you how this comes together. But what I am going to do is invert this. And I'm going to now pull out all of the saturation. So we have a true black and white image. And I can't help myself, so I am actually going to go and clean this up a little bit. Uh, and then I don't mind it on the edges there, but there's something about this that's bothering me. Okay. And then to make this look a little bit realer, I'm going to go into my filters, my blurs, Gaussian blur, and I'm just going to clean up those edges real quickly. Not too much. Great. So we don't have any hard edges on it. And I'm going to go ahead and just save this again as the same, and I'm just going to call it mods. Now I'm going to go back to my other window. Great. Pop over here, and I'm going to go ahead and go to my images. I'm going to add an image. I'm going to upload that image we just modified. And I'm going to go ahead and throw it on the top of this. And I'm going to use my math, 640 by 1920, and I wanted it 0, 0. And then this is the most important step we're going to make right now. And for this example, I'm going to go ahead and just take one image and throw it behind here for a moment. So we have the splash library here too. Oh, it's being a little bit, my internet is slow, so there we go. Oh, sorry. Let's give it a moment. And the reason why I'm doing this is so instead of having our gray images behind, you can see what these modes I'm about to change are. Let's give that a moment. Doesn't work. I can also go to our library and we'll just pull an archival photo of me for a moment. And I'm going to go ahead and in my layers, just move that one behind. So when I select this layer and I go to my settings, I can then go to my blend mode and I can change this to overlay. And you'll see now I'm starting to pop through it. I could also change it to, in this case, multiply, or I could change it to darken, which is probably what I want to do here. There's a bunch of different options here. It's just like Photoshop. And we're going to go with multiply for now. And you're going to see here that I perhaps overdid it on the not black and white levels here. So let's go back into Photoshop real quick. I'm going to make one edit just so you can see what I mean here. And so let's go ahead and duplicate these layers, find these two, combine these. And now let's actually knock out this white a little bit. So I'm going to go into my levels, and I'm not going to be super super picky about this now because I want to get through the full demo, but you could essentially go through this. Curves is probably a better tool for it, but you can change the midtones. And that's what I want to do. I want to lighten those up. And then I want to take my blacks and really nail them. So once again, just open up those midtones, have my harsh blacks, and then I can go to my whites and kind of open them up a little bit. So we're getting some of this effect, but not as much. Okay, save this. I'm going to go ahead and export this again as another P, call it mod 2. Let's go back into now Pictor. And so typically I would have prepped all of these things before the call, but I wanted people to see how it's actually assembled. So we're going to save this one on the side. I'm going to upload the second image. And you'll see side by side, this one has a lot more white and less gray in it. So now, for the sake of this demo right now, I'm going to just go ahead and go to blend mode, multiply here, and you'll see we have a lot more of the color coming through than we did there. So I'm going to remove this, pop this up. Great. And now we're going to also see we have these layers here. So our captures are not quite in the right spots. So what I'm going to do now is move these guys. Whoops. Open another window so that they all are behind the black areas so we don't have a rough edge. Layer, capture 1, similar here. Great. And now going back to my layers, I'm going to move this one back to the top layer. We're going to save those. Save. Close, save. I'm going to turn these off so we don't use the wrong one. And then I'm going to pop back into my experience, do a test. So 1, 2, 3. And this will composite here. And we see now the overlay distressing the images themselves. The next thing we're going to do, we'll duplicate this. And I'm going to look for an image. The old photo booths have that really like nice, like blue or red crisp background. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? So let me see if I can find an image. It's not quite what I'm looking for. Is this it? We can use this one for now, because this is pretty close to what I was imagining. It has that sort of like really vintage vibe to it. And I'm going to go ahead and for the sake of this demo, I'm just going to screenshot this. And I'm going to get kind of a square. I'm going to move, oops, no. This is a great plugin that I love. I don't know if you can see it in my screen share, but it allows me to do a little bit more than I would be able to on my normal desktop. So I'm going to come back here and say edit, and I'm going to call this with curtain. And I'm going to now go to my layers once again. To make things simple, I'm going to move this to the back. I'm going to now upload my curtain image. And I'm going to be a little bit sloppy about this on purpose because I don't want that curtain to look exactly the same in each of these, but I want it to look very similar. Like we kind of maybe bumped it or and then I'm going to now go back to my layers and I'm going to move these below again. And you're going to understand why in a second, because I'm going to now take my capture and I'm going to go here. I'm going to go to edit, remove background. We have premium and not premium. So the not premium works on your device using whatever your device uses for background removal. In virtual, there's no difference between the two of these. But if you want something to go to the cloud and have a perfect background removal, I would suggest the premium. However, the local is getting really great. So you can test that and see which is to your likeness. I would show you a test on both, but it's going to be the same because we use the same engine for that. So remove background. Remove background. And so now we've removed the background on these captures. I've layered them over the curtain. And the last thing we have to do is go back to our layers and pull this all the way up to the top. So in this example now, we're not going to see the curtain until we run it through. So let's try that with curtain. Let's go. So 1, processing the background removal. 2, processing the background removal. And last 3. And there you go. So now I'm in a vintage photo booth. And if I wanted to do anything more to this, the other thing I could do is I could take some of these old like color distortions and play with those on the top, which could be really fun. So I'm not going to do that now. Does everyone imagine, like, can everyone understand what I'm talking about by using some of these old color distortions? Yeah, cool. Okay, so we have 2 options now, and this is where I encourage everyone to turn on their microphones and shout out because whoever is loudest is going to win. The options that we have are I can show you how to brand out the entire experience to look and feel like a vintage photo experience. So that means essentially from the start screen through the end of the process, turning on sharing, creating a virtual booth, or I could show you how I would do something similar to this with an AI prompt.
Branded.
Yep, we got one for branding. Who was that?
Derek.
Derek. Hey, Derek. Does anyone want to counter Derek's branding?
Virtual booth.
AI.
Okay, so we got, well, the virtual booth is part of the branding. So we got 2 for
AI.
branding. Uh-oh, 2 and 2.
I
Okay.
wasn't loud enough.
Who just talked? You're the deal breaker, whoever just was laughing.
It was Tiffany.
Tiffany, okay, what was your request?
I said AI.
Okay. Your
Yeah,
deal
I'd like AI as well.
Okay, cool. I will go through the AI quickly, and if we have time, I will do some branding as well.
Nice.
So going into Perplexity, I'm going to actually, you know what I'm going to do just to try and save some time? Images.com, vintage photo strips. And I'm going to try and find this. Looks like it could work. I actually want color though. If I can't find a color one real quickly, I will go ahead and use this one. This is like what I'm looking for, but I want a few of them. Okay, let's try here. Getting closer, getting closer. No. Okay, let's go back over here. Let us grab that first one. That was great. Okay. And I'm going to take this image. I'm going to go back into Perplexity and say, and I'm going to use my ever handy voice recorder, which I love. Please use the uploaded reference image as a reference to create for me a repeatable generative AI image prompt where I can create a vintage looking photo with the selfie that I uploaded. I want each frame to look as if I took it in the same vintage photo booth. I want them to look colored with chemical stains, not perfect exposure. And I would like them to have that really like nice red vintage photo booth curtain behind them. If you could create that prompt for me to test. Oops, and paste it in the wrong place. And while that's happening, I'm going to come back over here. We'll save this. Let's go into app.pictor.pro again. You can keep two windows open. I'm going to go into my custom AI prompts here, and I'm going to start to create a new prompt. Cool. And this says, describe your selfie subject, and I'm going to say, please modify this so that you use the selfie I've uploaded as the reference image. Do not change the look and feel of the person. We want to make sure that their shape and size, facial structure, skin tones, etc., all remain true to the reference image. And we will be using this for multiple images. So the same prompt has to work for multiple people. And I can go back here. I'm going to pop that prompt in. I'm going to call on our friend Eve. Let's call this vintage photo booth test 01. And I'm going to just let this rip. If I was doing this myself, I'd have read that and make sure there's nothing silly in there. But so that we can try and get to some branding, I'm going to go ahead and let it roll. And then I am going to come back here and just pull this, which is an additional amount of information that I can add to this. It may be unnecessary, but once again, if I were doing this on my own time, I would be reading through all these and making sure that it all makes perfect sense. AI has a tendency to be great 80% of the time, and 20% of the time you have no idea why it did what it did. So let's just try these two prompts. Based on which of these comes out the best, we'll move forward with it. and then I will show branding. So this way you get an idea of how we can use AI, and you can go back and tune these. While this is rendering out, do we have any questions? Ta-da! So before you go, before I open up to questions, I'm going to say that this looks amazing, but we don't want any of the frame around it. So we want just the image itself. I'm going to run this next prompt with those changes that it gave me just to see what happens. And in the meantime, I'm going to copy this image, go back to Perplexity, share the image again and say, hey, so we're 99% of the way there. The image itself looks incredible. It's kind of exactly what I wanted, except I don't want any frame around it. I need just the image itself, no white space around. So the image itself should go edge to edge. And I want you to distress it a little bit more, make it look like an old photo, perhaps add some creases to it, or rough edges, or chemical stain. We don't want it to be perfect. So once again, like this is looking exactly how I want it, except I don't want these edges around it because we're going to go pop those back into that strip. If we were just doing a one-off, like that looks awesome as is, and you can throw a logo on the bottom of it. You should try it a few times to make sure it's repeatable. Like that looks fantastic. Let's see if we can get the prompt that we want. Go ahead and copy this, drop it in. We'll generate that. And then they gave me a second round of no border, no Polaroid frame, etc. So if we don't get it on this one, we can add that in. Next. While this is rendering, I see we have one in the chat. Nope, we just have a yes. Does anyone have any questions about this process thus far?
Nicholas, is this where you would request the size of the output to match your template, like the 1x1, or how does that handle? Because I was struggling with that.
Yes, great question. So no is the answer, although that is coming here. So we have a lot of things coming to this where you can test all sorts of different additional peripherals and run them multiple times to see if you can get exactly what you want here. So you could run variations of the same prompt all at once, but I will show you in a moment where to do that. And who was that who was speaking? I think I recognize your voice.
Derek.
Hey, Derek, yes.
Hey.
So that bug that we had that you had found has been fixed. So your different ratios should work now. It got pushed to live.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay.
Yep. And so we'll run this one last one to see if it cleans up that outside frame. If not, we're going to move forward with it. Perfect. This is exactly what I was hoping for. I'm going to select this thumbnail and I'm going to use this prompt setting. Using this prompt setting means that if I had really liked this one, I can go back and make sure this is the one that saves with it. I'm going to use this prompt setting. I'm going to save. I'm going to come back to my tool. I'm going to go and just start a new template. We're going to do a 2x6 again. I'm going to take one capture. I'm going to make the capture once again 1x1. I'm going to now add to this an AI image. I'm going to select my prompt. I'm going to grab my custom prompt, my vintage photo booth. I'm going to say that I want 4 of these because for some reason the AI works that way. I'm going to hide the original, and I'm going to take, for now, just so we can see what we get, AI output. AI output. AI output. The squares. And I'm going to just hide that one behind. Okay. So I'm not going to massage these for right now. I'm just going to pop them in because we're short on time. and call this AI1. Save that, save that. Pop back over here. I'm going to try my AI1. And now I only need to take, if I wanted just one photo, actually redo that. I can do one photo. And one thing that's really fun is I didn't do it in this, but I could have in that prompt, and let me just show you what I mean by that. I can say, this is perfect. This is exactly what I want. Please add into this prompt a few different poses that the AI should choose from while it's working. So we get a little bit of randomization, but we still have the same reliable output. And so in this version I just did, we are going to get variations, but they may all look very similar. And so here it is, it's back already. And there we go. So this is with AI. This looks awesome in my opinion. And it's definitely me, and it's 3 variations on sort of the same image. However, with some of these other classic photo booth poses, we see for each generation randomly choose one of these natural photo booth poses. So I can't help myself. I got to see what happens here. Let us create one new prompt and call it variations. Select our test image. And let's see what happens here. And I'm going to now pull also this bottom part. And add that. And I'm going to run that. We'll just run it twice and see if we get 2 different outputs. The other thing you can do, which I'm going to show you now, is back over here, going back into my settings. I'm going to add one more new photo strip. And I'm going to call this 3-pose AI. And I'm going to now pull my captures. And I want this to be 1 by 1. And it doesn't matter where these go because for now, oops, I get hidden that way. Let me go back to. And I'm going to now add to this my prompt. So this is an AI image. I want to select a prompt. I'm going to go to custom. I don't want variations because we haven't tested it yet. I want that. And I want one AI output. I'm going to do the same on this. And I'm going to do the same on this. And what this means is that we're doing 3 AI outputs, but we're taking a unique image for each of them. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll just hide these for now because I'm too lazy to do it the proper way. Pop back up here. Let's go ahead and open that up. And so now this is going to allow me to take 3 different images. And each one of them is going to get AI outputs. Let me just hide these for now so we don't select the wrong one. So I'm going to do 1. I'm going to do 2. And I'm going to do 3. And while that's happening over there, let's pop back into this. And let's just try running it one more time to see if we get a different output from it. Curious.
Nicholas,
Okay.
that one where you had the one capture and you had the 4 AI outputs, is
Yes.
that would that be 4 credits then, or is that a 1 credit?
This is, let me see. It is 4 tokens.
Okay.
Yep. And then this is 3 tokens. Yep.
Okay.
So while this next one, well, let's see, it was moving so fast before. Let's check on it. Oh, it's back already. So that one came back. And here is my 3 different poses. So we lost the hands in the first 2. So I would play with that a little bit more to make sure that we're getting the same uniqueness that we want. I know that we have tuned one of these that does have the exact same expressions and everything. So it is possible. That is the example that I shared for the demo today. So let's use the last 8 minutes we have together today to run through and do some fun branding stuff together. So I'm going to go ahead and head up here. These are my global style settings. If I make changes here, they're going to travel through the entire experience. So let us start with the background. I'm going to, since I've already uploaded this, use this curtain as the background. I'm going to just save it so you see how quickly these changes take effect. Now you're going to see that red curtain as the background there. And now I'm going to go back into my global style settings, and we have the ability to change a lot of stuff here. So modals, for example, I'm just going to do some real ugly colors fast so you can see what they do. Background color, let's do green, and let's put that at 50. And let's save that, save. So our modal is this, which is now purple. We have a background color, which is behind the modal, which is that gross green that we chose at a 50%. And we have the ability to use these or not use these. So I'm going to go ahead in this particular case, and I'm going to go ahead and turn our modals to 0 alpha, meaning we're not going to see any colors from them there. I'm going to go to my text, and I'm going to want this in white, white, white. And I can choose a Google font or upload my own. Let's see. I'm just trying to find like an old-timey font. Zen Old Mincho. Let's try you. Okay, let's go black. That, save, save. And you'll see all of a sudden these are going to start taking. So now we just have the text on the background. We don't have that modal anymore. Popping through on each of these screens, we're going to see that carry through. And what we can also do is we like that vintage blue, and by we, I'm me. So I'm going to go to my buttons, and I'll show you how we can change a button to blue. And then we can change the text color here to blue. And the secondary button could be white. Text color here will be white, great. And we can have it so these don't have any round edges on them. Save. And you're going to see these changes start to populate immediately. So the blue button, etc. That is a real crash course in how to do these individual branding moments. We also have the ability to, if you want to override on a particular screen, so you can do title, subtitle, body, save. Almost every flow stage has the ability to add text to it. So you'll see that now, and this is going to be in that font, title, subtitle, body, touch to start. And I can also change this button to a large button here and say, let's say photo booth time. Save. And you'll see this touch to start now turn into a button. Photo.
Did you add a logo here?
I can add a logo, yes. So I can add branding. Actually, let me do it on the global so you can see it take place everywhere. And now the logo is on all pages. Cool. So that is the crash course in vintage photo strips and some branding. We can do maybe next week if there's a request, we can do full branding workshop. Would people like that?
Yeah, I think that'd be
Yes.
good. That was
Daddy,
good today.
Well,
Yeah.
cool. You can go
Nice.
through. Sorry, someone said something?
I said, yes, that would be nice. And then
Awesome.
Derek said, yes.
Yes,
Good.
yes.
Sounds good. So next week we will go through the individual flow stages and show each of their branding capabilities. That sounds like a great webinar. Derek and whoever, I think it was Tiffany who was speaking a moment ago, please come
Yes.
with questions. The other thing is I was talking to our token fairy and Eve, told me that if you folks share some of the cool things you've been doing with Pictor in the Facebook group, that she's going to be showering some people with some tokens this week. So little fun tidbit. So if you've done something cool with Pictor, either for an actual event or just playing around and you think it looks awesome, please share it in the Facebook group and I will send Eve your way. Cool. We have 2 minutes left. Does anyone have a question?
I might as well ask. I don't know if
Yes.
I got the answer yet. How do you escape on the actual kiosk and the iPad? How do you get out of the app?
Great question. So it's not going to
Missing
work
that.
in this because
Yeah, it's
not the exact same thing, but
right.
I will show you. There is a secret button right below your camera. And if you just hold your finger on it, it will exit. There is
Awesome.
also a secret button over here that if you tap 3 times, it gives you controls within the photo experience.
Amazing. I'm sure everybody knows that, but me, first timer.
Believe me, if you don't know, I'm sure there's other people who don't know. We are in the process now of auditing all of our help documents. I posted 2 new articles myself last week. I have about 55 articles that I'm going through with a fine-tooth comb. So a lot of the help documentation is from our first release 3 years ago. And so now that we have all of the features out, we're going back and cleaning up a lot of that stuff. So that's very, very exciting for us.
Thank you, Nicholas.
Cool. Well, thank you, Derek. Thank you, Francis. Thank you, FX Photo Booth. Thank you, Eva. Thank you, Janine. Hey, Louie. Hey, Mitch. Thank you, Mixie. And thank you, Tiffany, for all taking your time to be here with us today. Louie, I responded to your Facebook comment. I did post that video yesterday. Apologies, it took a long time to get that edit done. We try to get these videos up as soon as the next day, but sometimes it does take a little bit longer. So we will be posting this video that we recorded today as soon as possible in our Facebook group. So keep an eye out for that. Cool. Thank you, everybody. Have a great one.
Thank you.
Bye.